Do you know what? When you've been eating healthy and you've been training, fried breakfast in the morning doesn't go down as well as it used to. Gave me a bit of an upset stomach on the trip over to Budapest for some more darts action, 2 bronze WDF ranked events. The Birmingham airport issue wasn't too much of an issue for me. I went through the Jet 2 entrance, which meant we skipped majority. There was a lot of running around and screaming and shouting from the staff, but we got through it okay. I think the staff maybe just a little bit too stressed in that department. Probably have to deal with a lot of complaints on a daily basis. But we got to Hungary. First thing that was notable, heat. It was absolutely scorching over there. I believe it was 33 degrees, which for me, who wears shorts even in the winter and the snow, that was an incredible heat and a bit of a struggle at times. Huge thanks as well here at this point go to Greta, who plays on the WDF Ladies Tour, currently just a couple of places outside of Lakeside. We've got a lot of events coming up where she's hoping to get into that event. And also Patrick, a brother who drove me down to Lake Balaton. Not only that, they also dropped me off at a local darts club so I could have a little look around, and wow, the facilities that are available. This is in a leisure centre. You don't get anything like this in the UK. A leisure centre that has 20 dartboard lanes, a full stage set, streaming possibilities, space in the middle of the room for which you can actually sit and sort of watch the games and be interactive with the event. Really great facility here for local practice, and I'll put all the details up on the screen as I talk about this. They was also very kind to give me some gifts, so I got a nice mug which has their logo on it, and also it's a nice shirt. Look at that, beautiful shirt there as well. So a couple of really getting the autofocus, there we go, and bang there. Right, a couple of lovely gifts there, so big thank you to them for having me. And if you are in Hungary, do go check them out. They are looking to grow the club and sort of get more people involved with darts, and they're looking at doing the right things. They was talking about like coaching opportunities and exhibitions and everything there. That venue would have been very, very suitable actually to host this entire tournament rather than the one that we got. So let's first talk location. Lake Balaton. What a place. I mean, first of all, terrible videography there, Edgar, to get the bin in, so we'll get that out of the way. Well spotted. But everyone just having a great time. Bars, cafes, restaurants, slides, water slides, rides, parks, the lot. It was a proper seaside holiday sort of location. Seaside, but lakeside, you know what I mean. Loads of cafes and opportunities. Tried a bit of the local cuisine as well. I believe this was called languish, which is like a fried flatbread with cheese, sour cream, garlic. Absolutely loved that. Would probably have that again, to be fair. I don't normally try the local things. Normally it's like a hot dog, a burger, that sort of thing. Went down to the lake a little bit later on in the evening. Was invited to go into the lake until I was later told, or previously told, should I say, that there are snakes in the area. They have had a shark in there before. They've had turtles in there before, which they're called alligator turtles, but I think they mean like snapping turtles sort of thing. And with that in mind, my instant reaction was, no, absolutely not am I going in there. And they went, no, don't worry about it. You know, they leave you alone. It's very rare that anything ever happens. Yeah, but the chances increase the second I jump in that water. If I sit over there in that bar, the chances are slim. In fact, the chances are non-existent. I've never once in my life been sat in a cafe, bar, restaurant, no matter where I am in the world, and suffered a shark attack. So as long as I'm sat in there, I think the chances of me having a shark attack or being bitten by any form of turtle are much, much more reduced to a 0. And I say that now, I know someone's going to come and give me a shark attack in Spain when we're over there next or something along those lines. But unfortunately, the same couldn't be said for the actual venue. I think one thing that can always be said about me when I do these reviews or these vlogs is I'm fair. And this venue, unfortunately, not fit for purpose. You can see here just how small it is in regards to the actual boards. 16 boards in there, Look how tight they are. One of the things for me is always the marker. I hate standing next to the board being really tight, and look how close you are there with darts just flying past your head either side. The other thing here, board 8, right up against the wall, means you can't exit to the right, you've got to exit to the left, so you're going to impede board 7, which will impede 6, and it'll have a knock-on effect of everyone just having a bit of congestion coming back towards the back of the room. That in mind, they wouldn't let anyone in the venue unless you was playing on marking, which meant the only seats available was outside. Now, as I said, it was scouldering. It was very hot for most of the event. However, for a couple of hours on Saturday, we did have a thunderstorm, which there was these canopies up to try and keep it dry, but that's if rain falls straight line, which it doesn't always do so. You can see like a little bit of wind and draft, and it's actually coming through the middle of the tables that are sat in the middle of the room. So you end up getting a bit wet hands, and you've got to cover your darts and your cases. Did clear up though, and then at that point it was people trying to find ways to keep active. There was not a single practice board in sight, and sometimes we was talking an hour and a half to 2 hours break between games. Now, what tended to happen, or what did happen on this occasion, was you'll see people in the background here just started throwing darts at trees just to keep their arm moving, just to keep turning over and keep a technique going, to the point where there was actually throwing, because you get stiff, and then you've got to try and get out of that with just a minute or two's preparation before the game goes on. So no practice boards at all, I thought was extremely poor for an event that carries a place in the World Masters. It carries world ranking points, which could determine for some people seeding, for some people even getting to Lakeside in the first place, and people are stood outside throwing darts at trees. That's not good enough. There are people stood outside in a thunderstorm between matches. Not good enough. So, first of all, those. Now, these are things that can be altered. The one thing that really stood out for me that I wasn't happy with was rudeness. Now, if anyone's ever found me be rude to an organiser or anything in your life, speak now in the comment section. I guarantee you won't find a single person, because I am overly polite to people that majority of the time are volunteers to allow us to go out there and play the darts. But this now is where the WDF are needed more than ever to step up, and this is where they need to be at the events. They need to be there going, this is not good enough, and the rudeness is what got me. So I think it was the last 16 of the quarter-final stage. I can't remember exactly which one it was. I've gone up to reception because there was about 25 minutes wait, and there was nothing happening. All the boards were empty, people just having to throw 25 minutes. So I've gone up and I said, excuse me, when's the next round going to start? Do you know? Shoo. This is shoo. So I thought he was joking. I wouldn't think anyone would speak to anyone like that. I'm like, yeah. So is it going to be soon? Like 5 minutes, 10 minutes? Some minutes was the answer I got. Okay, some minutes. And I now realise he's being serious. So you do realise, like, if we're making people wait 30 minutes of which to mark a game because they've lost, they're not going to sit around, they're going to go. So shouldn't we start soon? So, busy. Like, well, sat there 25 minutes. The last 10 minutes have just been sat on the phone. So, yeah, okay. They must be busy trying to work out how to deal with these last 8 or 16 players or so. So we go over, lo and behold, Mark didn't show up, stood there 10 minutes practicing. Therefore, someone steps in, which I'm always grateful of for someone stepping in. But about 10 mistakes the marker made. I did speak to Zach about this afterwards, and Zach's like, yeah, because I hate that sometimes. He says, because sometimes when you're marking and like it's someone you maybe know, like maybe watches the channel, he says sometimes you get a little bit nervous, and once you make a mistake, it leads to 2, leads to 3. I get that, and I can get how annoying that can be. On the flip side, it's tough as a player as well, because then you start watching the board and the marker as well, rather than just sort of getting involved with the match and losing yourself in the game. You got to check the scores after every throw. Just give you something else to worry about, which is kind of not ideal. Now, the actual dart side of things, there's no footage of me playing, unfortunately. Some people might have got some, but I certainly wasn't able to. I was on my own on this trip, no Zach or anyone who could get me any sort of footage. So the only footage I've got is of sort of people playing darts. Now, my actual games I was actually really happy with. Now, I've spoken about how I've been coming back to life a lot recently in regards to the game, and I've been really putting in some good performances here. A lot of legs around the sort of 15 dart mark. Certainly that 15 to 18 bracket, very, very strong, which is sort of the 83 to 93 sort of average range. So again, really happy with that. There was a young lad who was following my early games who said first round average 96 and average 91, and then he sort of went around for the next couple of games, which was a shame because I was quite happy with him updating me on where I was. It was a nice little confidence builder and things. Quarterfinals on the first day, reached the semis on the second day. There was a little bit of an incident in the semi-finals, which I will cover on a separate video for those that was unable to sort of work out what was going on in that situation. I'll talk you through everything that happened in that one because that was on the streaming board, so I will show that footage and sort of what happened and what was said and everything that happened in that moment. That'll be coming later in the week. So if you want to see that one, do hit the subscribe button and I will talk you through everything that happened in that game. Now, one thing I did notice about the darts in Hungary, there's a lot of players that are very close. So a couple of my games, actually, although they were like 4-1, 4-0, there was really tight games and there's some really good players out there. And then I also noticed that there's a lot of players that play sort of in hits. So I played one guy, he went 13 darts in the opening leg and broke my throw, and then didn't hit anything for 4 legs, and I won 4-1. So there's players that have got sort of like a leg or two in them, and I think maybe with development, and certainly if they had things like practice facilities and boards, then maybe we could see them sort of move forward. Now, a lot of players wanted to talk to me about the heat and wanted me to mention the heat, and I said I would. A couple of people even had to wring their shirts out, they were sweating that much. Darren Williams, who travelled over from the UK, the only other player from England to go over, he went back to his room to shower 3 times and change his shirt during the tournament because it was that warm. Now, he had the luxury of being able to go to his room staying on site. I didn't get that luxury. Despite the fact I emailed twice on 2 separate email addresses, the emails unfortunately was ignored and I wasn't able to book in to get in a place at the actual venue itself. So I was half a mile down the road, so I didn't get that luxury of being able to do so. Now, not only that, there was more sort of issues or mistakes. I mean, on the Sunday, they started packing away the tables and the chairs, or some of the tables and the seating, before the event had even started. So this meant a lot more people were standing around, so they actually reduced the outdoor seating area before the event started. Now, I've always said, like, if the priority is leaving, why start the event in the first place? So if you're worried about that pack-up time and getting that done quite quickly, just should you be there? Would be sort of my debate to that one. But yeah, so there's a lot more standing around on the second day due to the lack of seating facilities. So my summary of this event is simple. Location-wise, absolutely incredible. One of the most stunning places I have played darts in my life, and I have played darts for 24 years in pretty much every country now in the world. Amazing location, and this could be one of the best places on the darting calendar and could be a bucket list sort of darting venue and darting sort of weekend for most. However, what really let it down, just that organisational, the size of the venue, the outdoors, and like I say, that the heat you can't really get around, but consider it, put some blowers on in the morning, get the place cooled down so at least it starts to that way. You shouldn't have to be standing outside. And to be honest, it wasn't a case that people still want to go in and support their friend and their player, and if you saw the venue at the start of the video, there's no space for them to stand, so they're standing, and you're literally stood next to people watching the game. It just wasn't fit for purpose. Never mind a local event, I don't think it would even suited that. This was not a venue that was suitable for a world-ranked event. Absolutely not. That being said, I still enjoyed my time at Lake Balaton. That was good. That was fun. Would I go back again? Absolutely, I'd go back to the to the town, but I'd hope that maybe there'd be some changes made in future years. But it was a quarter-final and a semi-final. That's the most important thing. That's the thing we want to see. Wins again, get into that regular sort of quarter-final, semi-final stage of every tournament I'm kind of going to at the minute, which is great that I'm always having that deep run. Came away hassle-free, injury-free still not getting much of a niggle or pain, which is great. Well, I get the niggle, but not really the pain, should I say. So that's a real positive. I'm building, I'm growing, I'm looking towards the World Masters and Lakeside, and the more that I do this, the more I'm convinced I'm going to be ready for those events. There'll be plenty more reviews of all these venues, so if you do want to see what it's like there out on the World Tour, one thing's for sure, it is varied. A couple of weeks ago we were in Switzerland, and I was saying how good it was. This one, unfortunately, I think goes to the bottom of the pile. I will be doing a video ranking all the countries I've been to in regards to the events themselves. So again, if you want to see that, hit the subscribe button, and I'll catch you soon for some more Edgar TV.